There we go. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to just give you an introduction to level 2 of distance learning. And you are in for a treat. One of your facilitators is here to help host our launch today, so that's awesome. I want to let you know that this is the second round of level 2, and there are currently 68 of you enrolled together to be able to work together and learn together, so that's super exciting. If you have not already, take the opportunity to the slideshow. That is the link, the bit.ly DL-info2. I've been kind of dropping the links in the chat as well. I'm working from 2 computers as well, so please excuse the back and forth. But I placed them in the chat one more time. So that's the link to the slideshow. And I want to introduce you to the amazing distance learning team. It is run by the amazing Dr. Jason Hodgson from pbvU and the amazing Hans Tolman, who is, go ahead and say hi, Hans.
Hey, guys.
And then we have Mr. Troy Witham. Say
hi.
And myself. So together we are your distance learning certification team. At any time, if you have a question, you can reach out to us as well as your facilitators. And I believe this is Troy.
Yep. So by the end of this session today, participants will, 1, know how to access the distance learning certification website, 2, understand the basic structure of the level 2 course, understand the purpose of each component in each module, understand the why behind the tools that were chosen, know what to expect during a boost and showcase session. Since this is a level 2, they are going to be a little different from your level 1. And then understand the showcase slides and checklist.
Okay, and we have a really fun tool called the question and answer doc. That's the link there. I've also placed the link in the chat, and we just want to take a second to show you how this works, because this is kind of a guiding document throughout the course. It is a great place to put your question, but not only that, when you place your question there, everyone else gets to see your question and the answer. So we have questions that are frequently asked throughout the courses, and we've already answered them. So there's a few of those there for you already. But I want to just kind of show you the process. So if I had a question, I would come to this document, type in the date, and the amazing Hans is doing this behind the scenes for me. And maybe my question is, hey, I see there's 2 facilitators who are offering office hours. Do I have to show up to both of the office hours? So then after you type your question, you could tag your facilitator. And you should know who that is at the latest by Monday. But if that was me, you would type my name and then highlight. When you highlight my name, you'll see the little plus that comes up at the side. And you can click on it and add a comment. And honestly, you can even just type the plus in my name at that point. And what that does is it sends me an email that tells me there's something waiting for me in this document. It lets me know I need to come in here and answer a question. What we would like for you to do is if you see someone has asked a question and maybe there's no answer yet, but you have the same question, go ahead and add your name to the participant name. So if it was Hans and he had the same question, he would just add his name there as well. And that gives us an idea of how many people have this question, as we're kind of looking to anticipate your questions and provide help and support maybe before those questions arise. And then I would come in and I would type in an answer to that document or to that question, which is the office hours are available for your support. You do not have to attend both of them. They are there if you need them. You don't actually have to attend any of the office hours if you don't need them. And so today, as we move throughout the presentation and the launch, if you have questions, please click the link, use the link in the comments, jump into that document and add your questions. And we will be watching that and monitoring that and addressing them as we go. Jason, you're on mute.
I guess I should I hit the mute button? This is a distance learning class, right? Welcome everyone. It is awesome to see so many names and a couple faces joining the level 2, progressing along in the certification process. I hear we're probably going to be doing a little of this type of instruction in the fall. So it's wonderful that you're taking advantage of this opportunity to get prepared for that. First and foremost, thank you to Shelley and Hans and Troy. Just an amazing team. I'm grateful for their support. I think going forward, you'll see that a lot of the structure and the content that I used to speak to is in the help document. Primarily some of the structures from the learning cycles, like the 7th column time cards. Those processes are still relatively the same. In this case, you can either pick them up from the district office or a school site nearby when they open, or we will get one to you if you're not able to do that. So that's kind of the main idea there. Once you've completed the activities and the seat time, it's probably one of the most common questions structurally. What you'll learn, I think, that is similar to level 1, is you're really just taking the implementation kind of in that action research model and learning in real time with your peers, which is very exciting for us. So I guess finally, please continue to give feedback. We've tweaked this model, this particular level, a couple times already. And I'm positive we have a few more areas to continue to improve. So please do provide feedback, because we read it and we talk about it and we do make the improvements that you suggest. So thank you all again for joining us, and I look forward to, I wish I was part of your journey. I originally started out with you and I was pulled away beyond my control during the most recent showcase activity. So I will hop on again, because I am going to be certified at some point in this time. But thank you again for your time.
So to get us started, first, just a little introduction, kind of going back over those distance learning pillars. As we learned in level 1, the distance learning courses are built on top of that backbone of the 3 distance learning pillars. So to review, pillar 1 is communication and connection. Pillar 2 is your distance learning management. And pillar 3 is facilitating student engagement. So those are those 3 pillars. They're still going to pop back up for you again in level 2. So that basic course structure, here we have that excerpt from the website that just describes the difference from the level 1 to the level 2 distance learning course. And then again, you'll see those 3 buttons we have on that navigation page on the website that show you the module 1. So 2.1 is your communication and connection, module 2.2 distance learning management, and module 2.3 facilitates student engagement. So that's that basic course structure, once again built on top of that backbone of the pillars of distance learning. So today, some things that we'll go over, they should be pretty familiar to you now that you've gone through that level 1 course, but we're going to go over them real quickly. So the difference between those asynchronous learning elements and the synchronous learning elements. So again, the asynchronous, the stuff you're going to do on your own. So the distance learning certification website is where you'll find a lot of that material. Content and tasks are provided for each of the 3 modules. And then the learning and implementation is completed in time for the showcase. So that's that showcase presentation that you'll do to evidence all of your learning. Then the synchronous learning portions, again, that's participation in the boost, which is required. Participation in a showcase, again, required. You'll have synchronous sessions that contain both large and small group components. And then the facilitators of the courses will communicate those additional optional office hours just to offer you that additional support. And if, again, you have any questions, just remember to be putting them in that Q&A document. Shelley has posted the link for that in the chat, so you can access that Q&A document there.
And now we're going to jump over to our distance learning website, and you can find it at bit.ly/pbvU-DL cert. You guys are familiar with this from level 1, so I'm not going to go over every single component. You guys have already looked at before you start, the prerequisite skills and certification, the course navigation. Troy and Shelley, is there anything here that you think I should touch on before we move on to the level 2 course content?
I would suggest that if you didn't spend a lot of time digesting the distance learning, not the fundamentals, yes. Under course navigation, the distance learning fundamentals. A lot of those pieces apply, especially as we move into fall. So if that was a piece you may have skipped, definitely go back and read through this and take a minute to digest this. That would be my only real piece of advice. And if you haven't registered for the course, please make sure you register.
And when you're ready, you would click on level 2 course. And I believe we have a button on level 1, so that's another place for you to get to the registration link. And then this level 2 has a certification summary of how it's going to take those same tools that you used in level 1 and take them up a notch. And then this is where we're going to be posting the slides for this launch, and also the video. So if you have colleagues, let's see, today we have 49 participants. If you have colleagues that weren't able to join us today on level 2, you can refer them back to this page. We will update this video to the most current one. And then of course at the bottom, you have your buttons to these different modules. And you can also mouse over level 2 course and go to 2.1, and I will pass the mic over to Troy.
Okay, so for module 2.1, a lot of this is set up exactly the way you might remember it from the level 1 modules. So you'll see that introduction right there at the beginning just gives you a quick rundown of the information contained in this first module. As you continue down, you'll see that familiar section, the what will you learn, those learning objectives for this module. You'll continue to scroll and see which digital tools will be covered. So in module 2.1, that's Google Meet, Google Calendar, and Google Classroom. You'll then see a module FAQ document. So this is going to first contain some expectations for this module, and then also some frequently asked questions that peers of yours in previous cohorts have asked when they get to this section. So we have those there. And then you'll also see an exemplar of what evidence for this module will look like possibly when you put it together for your showcase presentation. Now, one thing to remember about these evidence exemplars is you might notice that these will look a little different from what your showcase presentation might look like. So just keep in mind, if you notice that there's something different or it doesn't match up, that's just because these are exemplars from a previous cohort, and we're just trying to give you a good place to start when it comes to seeing what that evidence could look like. Of course, these will be updated over time, but we wanted to make sure that we gave you something that you could go and view and see those evidence videos and see how the peers of yours had walked through that information prior. Below the FAQ document, you'll see your presentation that contains the content learning for this module. And you can click through that, and there's all those videos associated with the information. Below that, you'll see your tasks to complete, And of course, the final task in any module is always going to be complete the module feedback form below. And when you scroll down, you'll see that module feedback form, because at the end of each module, we really want to elicit that feedback from you about that specific module so that we can make very purposeful changes as time goes by to make this course as relevant as possible. And then I'll go ahead and hand it off for module 2.2.
So for 2.2, this is where you focus on distance learning management, and the tools you'll focus on are Google Classroom and Loom. Oh, we traded, Troy. And then, sorry, my bad. And then you'll see the objectives, and then below you'll see the digital tools that will be covered. And then, like Troy mentioned, you will see an FAQ specifically for this module for 2.2. And if you see any words that are underlined in a different color, that means those are links to resources and some frequently asked questions about this module. And then below you will see some examples of certification evidence exemplars. And you can go down and click on any of these, and there will be a link to view those videos of those exemplars. And then below that, you will see the content for this course, where you will see videos and steps for specific tasks. Make sure you go through all of these so you know how to complete the tasks below. And here's the list of tasks for Google Classroom. There's a set of 11. And then the list of tasks for Zoom. There's a lot here. Some of them won't take very long to complete. And if you're not sure about one of them, you can always go up here to the slides and review that. And then the last task will be to complete the module feedback form, which is below. And then a button to 2.3, and I will pass this on to Shelley.
So one of the things to remember as you start into level 2 is that some of the tools might be the same from level 1, but this is kind of a layering effect. So we did kind of the basics in level 1, and now we're adding another layer and going a little bit deeper into those tools. So we tried really hard to make sure the tasks weren't redundant, but we want to take you a little bit deeper in some of those tools. And then by the time you get to module 2.3, this is really a culmination of where you utilize those tools to engage your students. So we have a little bit of an introduction there, and it follows the same structure as the other modules. There are your objectives for the course, and again, a synthesis of all the tools: docs, slides, forms, classroom, Loom, and any other tools that you've picked up throughout your learning in the course. We have a expectation FAQ here for you as well. I'm trying to think if there was anything specific. Not off the top of my head. And then we have the slides. The engagement component is really kind of written in the slides a little more as a narrative, so it's easier if you walk through and read the slides and view the video first and then go in and complete your tasks. And as my predecessors have said, the last task always is to complete the feedback form. And we do look at those and we do modify these modules, and that's why some of the exemplars might be a little bit different than what you're being asked to do, because we're constantly making improvements, but we want you to have something to refer back to.
So again, whether it's today or later this week, as you're working through the website and you have questions, feel free to add a bookmark for this Google Doc for the Q&A document, and we'll drop a link back in there. But let's just see if anyone has any questions. So we have a question from Katie. Hi, Katie. Now that Canvas is being proposed for the fall distance learning, will we be covering this system? And we'll have to get back to you on that, Katie. As of now, Shelley, do you want to say anything?
I will say this: regardless of the decision that the board makes and the direction that we head, if Canvas is it, and we are going to provide training, we're going to provide professional development, we're going to support that process. It will not be a part of this distance learning level 2 because that piece is already built. But if Canvas is in our future, then we will be working to support all teachers and staff in that. However, everything that is built into level 1 and level 2 is transferable. The skills are transferable. Pieces that you create in Google and in the Google world, those are all usable regardless of the platform or the tool that we decide to go with for a delivery system.
And then we have a question and process, and we have a live question coming in from Amanda, and she's saying that a teacher contacted me saying she is registered for session 3, but would like to do level 2 session during session 2.
Yes, that's possible. And I'll type my email address, or if you want to, Hans, you can.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to copy and paste it from over here. Right. Oops. Sorry, Troy. I'm stepping all over you. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to come back to this Q&A document one more time before we close out our session today. I'm going to be going over the Google Classroom layout. You'll be able to find the class code. It's ZZN7EJR. So I'll have either Troy or Shelly drop that class code into the chat, and let's go over to Google Classroom and just check that out. Since you guys have already been through level 1, this is going to look really familiar. And I feel like it's this one. So on the stream, this is where you're going to see announcements from your facilitators as information comes available. Under classwork is where you find all of your course materials. Right now, these are all drafts, but by later this week, we will post those, and you guys are going to get a lot of notifications, but you can just ignore them. But here you'll see the sign in, sign out sheet for the showcase, the syllabus, certification website, Q&A document, boost slides, 7th column, Jamboard, events. For week 1, under each of these, there's only one assignment here, but most of these are classwork. But if you click on one of them, you will see the resource to that particular step. So you can go through this chronologically, just like you did in level 1, and have access to all of those documents. And then week 2, you're going to attend one boost, and we will have our facilitators update the date and times for those boosts so that you guys know. And then week 3 is collecting evidence, where you complete the rest of the tasks. And then week 4, it's the show time. And the only assignment here is complete the showcase. And that will be live later this week. And then week 5, grading. This was an assignment we posted later, making your videos viewable. So as you're creating videos in Loom, how to upload those into Google Drive and add them, insert them into your slides as your evidence. And then, of course, there's a feedback form. Shelly and Troy, is there anything else I should mention while I'm in Google Classroom?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
I can't think of anything.
It's very similar. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Troy.
All right, so now moving into the boost session. So what to expect, going to be very similar to what you saw in the level 1 boost. So your facilitators will go over your synchronous event agenda, that boost agenda. They'll go over your boost event protocols that you'll maintain throughout. They'll talk to you just a little bit more in depth about course overview and purpose. You'll have some time for participant introductions. You'll also do some large group discussion. Again, remembering to please put any questions during that time in that Q&A document before the boost, so that way those questions can get answered and your facilitators can maybe use that to guide some discussion as you meet together during the boost. And then Hans, if you can move us forward. Then you'll have a small group breakout time. Participants come prepared to discuss, collaborate, provide feedback, record, and share with the large group. So you'll talk about components from level 1 that stretched you the most. So those things that you learned, what kind of caused you to really stretch your knowledge base or your skill base. Which components from level 2 are you excited about trying and why? And then have you made contact with your support team? So right there, just to kind of stop for a second, we really are encouraging everyone to make sure that you reach out and have a support team of 2 to 3 of your peers. The reason for that is obviously because you may not have students that you can reach out to. And if something asks for students, you need to be able to have someone. So we highly recommend if you can reach out to staff members at your site, within your grade level or content, or even if not, reach out to some of your peers within this level 2 cohort, just so that way you can have a couple people to work with, bounce ideas off of, or ask any clarifying questions you may have as you're going through some of the material. We'll do a large group debrief as well, so participants will return to discuss those aha moments of what others had shared with them. Then we'll have a small group breakout where participants will review showcase template and discuss notices and wonderings, because as we've kind of stated so far, the showcase and different elements of the level 2 course are going to vary somewhat from the level 1. So it's important for you to be able to have some time to investigate that and bring out some of those things that you're noticing and some things that you're wondering about the level 2 showcase. You'll have a large group debrief where you can talk about those wonderings and things that you placed in the Q&A document. Your facilitators will then go over showcase components, and then they'll review next steps before you're done with that boost, because we want you to be really prepared for the showcase. So what to expect during the showcase session. So again, some of this might look familiar. You'll have your showcase event agenda. You'll have the event protocols that you'll go over. You'll have your small group breakout. You'll discuss what your biggest success was and why. Your small group breakout, participants will use your Google Slide showcase template to present your evidence. That's where you're going to have your small group, your triad, where you will have that 20 minutes to share what you learned and your evidence of that, and also to collect that feedback at the same time. So remember, we're doing both of those things simultaneously. In the large group debrief, participants will return to discuss the highlights of their showcase presentations. And then finally, you'll review course completion next steps and any tidbits of information that your facilitator has to share with you.
Okay. Well, it looks like I forgot to change the date on that slide. Whoops. So the launch is today, not May 15th, and we're here and we're excited you're here. Those steps on the side, register for the course if you haven't, or if you have friends or colleagues. The course closed, or the registration closed yesterday, but we could add a few if I knew about them soon this session. And you have all the information there that's also on the website with the links. I don't think I need to go over anything there. Again, like last time we ran session 2, our level 2, nope, wrong. This time around, you're not going to have students most likely that you're, that are accessible. So if you took level 1 in the last session, that is similar. If you took level 1 at the end of school in May, you had students that you were able to reach out to. So anywhere that the tasks ask you to have students participate or that you're supposed to engage with students, we're asking that you would develop a support team, that you would have 2 to 3 teachers on your team, maybe at your school site, maybe in your grade level. And if not, then participants that are also in this course with you could fill that role. So be thinking about who those people, that support team could be for you. And that would be the support team that would then jump in and fill any of those students would need to fill if you don't have students at the time. And I am looking at the Q&A doc, and I don't see any new questions.
All right, cool.
Oh, okay. And I think, Troy, I took one of your slides, and I'm sorry. This is not new to you guys. We thought we'd throw you into a breakout group here in just a second, and we want you to get to know each other. And this is kind of your question for discussion. How spicy do you anticipate your distance learning to be this fall? And before we put you into breakout groups, go ahead and go to the next slide. This is your frame. So as you think about distance learning this fall, how spicy you want it to be, are you going the mild, the medium, or the spicy side? And there's some frames for you to use. You might want to quickly take a picture of that with your phone or take a screenshot before we put you into breakout rooms. And you can do that right now while I get those going. Okay, and this is going to be random rooms. I mean, like randomly chosen who you get to know today. So here we go. We're going to give you about 10 minutes to just introduce yourself and then answer this question. I'm going to double check the chat. Any last minute questions before we put you into your rooms? No? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to open these rooms.
And the question is, how spicy do you see your distance learning being this fall?
I'm going to move someone really fast. I'm going to move her to room 3. I'm going to play a little bit. People will be like, why did I just get moved? But even it out. Okay.
So how do you think it's going, guys?
Did everybody get in? Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
I think it's going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to, let me go back to those dates.
Okay, we started at, I call it 3:32. We'll pull them out at 3:40.
Okay.
Far fewer questions and looks of concern or maybe trepidation in the eyes of the participants. So that's good. That's fun. Extra spicy.
Right.
We just thought they've seen this before. What can we do that's a little bit different? And if they need to build a support team, it might be a good place to start.
Yeah, I agree. That was one thing that I left the first boost thinking, I know some of the teachers, you know, and that are in the group, but, you know, I mean, if I didn't, how would I, like, sometimes a little awkward to just kind of cold call people.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a random person from Berkshire.
Right.
Maybe friends. I mean,
maybe there's a way we can communicate to the facilitators to really emphasize during the boost, you know, this is a great time, you know, as we break you out in grade level groups to discuss, this is a great time to grab those contacts of the people and form your support team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, and on the, you know, on the backside of that, you know, yeah, it's helping them to survive as they make it through and have that assistance from their peers. But then it's also serving to alleviate some stress from the facilitators, because then it's just going to be potentially fewer things that are, in the tsunami of questions that they could potentially get. So it's good on both sides. I'm surprised that there was only one Canvas question.
I tried, kind of fumbled through it, but
You did good.
Got to it by the. I'm glad you brought that up, Troy. I was going to say you did get to it, Shelley. The last few minutes of your explanation, I thought we will provide support. It definitely is pertinent, and Canvas is a tool, and a lot of this is some of the tool, but more how it's implemented. So I thought you did a great job kind of tying that all together. And we will include Canvas in probably level 3, I don't know, somewhere. Also, in addition, separate PD, right? So if we ever get that level 3 all wrapped up and rocked.
Well, what was it? Back in June, Hans and I had actually sat down one afternoon for a bit and had started brainstorming some stuff for level 3. So level 3 will be a bear no matter what, but it's gonna be a fun, jolly bear. It'll be great.
Honestly, I'm glad we waited, especially since so much has changed in the process to be able to implement or include some of the changes and directional changes. But it gave us some time to sit with and see how this is going and evaluate. And I think it'll be a better capstone to the process because of it. So I think once we figure out where the next session of distance learning is going to fall, we'll have to backwards map at that point to getting everything completed so that we can offer a level 3.
Yeah, agreed. Sorry, Shelley, every time you pop up on the screen, because I have it set where the speaker defaults to everything, the the artwork in the Starbucks, that it's tripping me out. Like every time I look at it.
It's kind of like the Knives Out background I've had where all the knives are pointing in it.
Yes.
Yeah, similar.
I love it.
Has a similar feel.
Why don't we get nice Starbuckses like that?
You got to pay higher rent.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, Jason, I realized when I turned on my camera that my whiteboard has names all over it. And I was like, oh, yeah, it doesn't matter why names are there. The point, people can't see names on a board, period.
No, it's a good call.
So Jason, how have you been during all of this craziness?
So today is a wonderful day. It's almost like normal crazy. It's amazing. Like,
good.
I've been in this like normal team space with most of the team most of the day, which is like, I'm not kidding, since even before we started developing this curriculum. I mean, it hasn't been like, it's just been months. We've been meeting online, but to have somewhat of a normal rhythm to a day is really like a nice little treat. So but it's, most days have been kind of sequestered in a lot of different areas. I'm just excited to get some of the things out on the table tonight at the board meeting, and what is hopefully, what does some of the structure of school look like and when, and IT has been amazing helping us push Canvas, all the background things through. I mean, we're literally like putting it to the board within a matter of like 14 days, which with all the moving pieces and parts, Wi-Fi hotspots and extra Chromebooks for every, pre-TK2 kid and all of those things. That's all like in 14 days.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
been amazing to see.
Crazy.
Yeah. So we're going to be ready. for every kid to be connected if we need.
Cool.
Well,
Wow, so much work.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
pretty fun. It's a lot of teachers have been volunteer, a lot of principals have been volunteering their time. You know, it's just, yeah, a lot of, the good thing is there's a lot of collaboration in our world, which is good. So no one's doing it all by themselves. What we really need is to get in some coaches, some teachers, and kind of get a core group of filtering once we have a good idea of what's next, where the go sign is, what it looks like.
Right.
You know, that way we're not wasting anybody's time, but we need some more outside eyes on it, all the different things, as soon as possible. So.
That's cool.
What a crazy time.
Yeah.
And you heard,
How about you guys? I mean, you're kind of probably just, I have no idea like what it must be like.
June was busy, and then I kind of, like, when July hit, I kind of took a little break.
Breaks are really good.
Yeah.
You like fourth, like last couple, like 4th of July week going forward?
Yeah. I mean, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm going to close the room. So I'm just letting you know.
Oh.
that
Okay.
Bring them
Okay.
back.
Here they come. I'll share my screen.
Okay, just waiting for the last few. It looks like everyone, just a couple. So before we end, I think it might be kind of fun to hear from a couple of you, but because we have such a large group, if you know how to raise your hand on your icon, I'm going to be looking at your participant screen for raised hands, and I will call on you to share out either your answer or one that a colleague gave, if you'd like to share. So I'm looking for the raised hands.
And if you want to raise your hand, you're going to go to your Zoom menu bar, click on participants, and at the bottom of that participant window, there's a button that says raise hand. So how spicy do you see your distance learning being this fall?
No one wants to share?
Oh yeah, we have
Oh, we got two.
Oh, I can't see them. Okay. Go ahead. If you guys can go for it.
Okay.
So, Marisa Farouk.
Hi everybody. I am super stoked about, I'm just gonna be spicy. I'm really excited to share my online music classroom with all of my grade levels at once. So 3rd, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I think that the things that are in there are really fun and they can be translated across all the grade levels because at the end of the day, it's how they interpret each activity. It'll be fun.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I'm hearing great discussions with music teachers and Flipgrid and lots of spicy ideas happening in music. Next, let's go to William. How spicy do you see your distance learning being this fall?
Hi, everybody. I'm going to be medium. I don't see it spicy, but I feel pretty good about it. Unless we switch to Canvas, which I know nothing about. And hopefully tonight the board will give us some direction on what we're doing so that I'll know how to prepare further. I plan on using Loom a lot and also a program that's called Edpuzzle. to do my math instruction. So both of those, I'm excited. I've already made some lessons, which I've used them in the past also. So I would say medium, not super excited, but fairly excited. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, William. Let's go to Nicole.
Hi. It's just like what Marisa said, I'm so excited to implement a lot of things I learned outside of pbvU. There's a lot of great webinars with music education through distance learning, and I'm using Google Earth somehow in music classroom. So I'm really excited. I think we can do it. There's still some stress, but I'm being positive. And just a shout out for any music teachers. I really recommend doing the the wellness-based pedagogy. Has really helped me as a music teacher discover like how to use distance learning and how to implement a lot of social emotional learning. So I'm really excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Nicole. Brad, how spicy do you see your distance learning being this fall?
Okay. I want to first of all say I'm still another music teacher, and I wanted to rise up and support what Marisa was saying and Nicole. But I wanted to just wait until tonight's board meeting to see exactly what direction we are going to be forced to go. But if we have to start the year distance learning, I'm going to be in the spicy category. In the spring, I produced YouTube videos and held lots of Zoom meetings with my kids and did everything I possibly could to keep teaching. And if we're supposed to do that in the beginning of next year as well, I'll be ready, and I'll be very willing to do what I have to do to reach my kids.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Brad. That's great to hear. And next we have Alyssa Kellner from Castle. Hey, Alyssa.
Hi, Hans. How are you?
Doing awesome.
So, I plan on being kind of a medium spicy kind of category. I've stumbled upon, which I'm sure a lot of people have, the Bitmoji Google virtual classrooms. And I'm here with my parents in Escondido. And so my mom is a teacher, and we've created Bitmoji classrooms. And so she's getting on board too. So it's, I'm kind of hoping that will at least help with the engagement part for my students, as well as everything that we're learning in these courses.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Anyone else, would anyone else like to share their spiciness level on how they see distance learning this fall? All right. Well, I think that's all that we have for you guys today. Anything else we need to add, Shelley, Troy, Jason?
No, I'm not seeing anything on the Q&A, but we will hang out here for a few minutes as everyone kind of leaves. If you still have questions, feel free to stick around and ask them.
We'll be having a dance party, so.
Woo!